Okay, so that's 61 millimeters. Basically, mine, this is all stock so far. Nothing's touched. The only thing I got is this OSP adjuster on there. So I just switched it to 6. I pulled a shim out. So mine had a shim behind it, and it was specking out around 62 and a little bit. So I pulled that, and I had just a slight angle in it when I ran it on the first video. So I kind of would have wanted it to go over a little more. So I pulled the shim out. It's really basically right at 61 now, which is the spec in the manual. And it really looks like it rides perfectly at 61. So Yamaha's spec at 61 is, in my opinion, correct, because that belt runs nice and straight right from the bottom right to the top when you really eye it up without that stupid belt guard in place. So you got to drill out those 2 rivets back there to get that belt guard out. You got to take that nut off, and then the bolt. I mean, once it's off, you got to kind of tie this out of the way, and then you got to rig up your hood here so you can fire it up. But once it's out of the way, you can do everything and get a look at it. But from what I'm seeing, stock clutches 61 millimeter spec is good. So as long as you're 61 from the inside of this to the face of this, the back face of this to the front face of this, 61 millimeters. That's what we want. And that seems good. Now that HJP, man, like this thing's only got 300 miles on it. I've never seen I've cleaned a lot of it already, but tons of belt dust from this HJP. So I'm gonna toss the HJP for now. Nothing wrong with it. Looks beautiful, perfect after 300 miles. And I'm gonna throw on a XS 825 Ultimax and do a little running with that and see how the belt dust is with that. But I just wanted to do this for my own peace of mind, really. I just wanted to see how close that belt would run, like how straight it would run. Because my 1200 had a really bad dog leg in it. I took that dog leg out, and it got rid of some of the heat. So, not that this has any heat or anything, it's been pretty good. But it was at 62 and a half. So, you know, maybe now that I'm pulled that shim out, maybe I'm closer to 61 now, I'll get rid of that belt dust, and or at least lessen the belt dust and get some of the heat down. But everything else looks good as far as kind of like parallelism and stuff when you start trying to eye things up. Everything looks pretty good. And I did do this here. I just got a hose clamp on it right now. I just drilled out that little elbow. It's a lot easier than going and buying a new one and driving all the way down there. It only took 2 seconds, 3/16. Okay.